All right, folks, so that one worked. That was great. So now we're going to move on to the next one. So let's take a look at the next one and see what happens again. Remember our formula here, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So again, what do we have here? So our a is 3, b is 5, c is 11. We have an equals here, so that's good. So let's plug in what we have, negative b, so negative 5 plus and minus square root of b squared, so that's 5 squared minus 4 times 3 times 11 all over 2 times 3. So let's start to simplify, clean this up a little bit. Let's see what happens here. So negative 5 plus and minus 5 squared is 25. We have a negative 4 times 3 times 11. So 4 times 3 times 11 gives us 132. So we have a negative 132, and the whole thing is over 6. So what do you notice here, folks, is we're going to actually have a little bit of a problem here. So we have a negative 5 plus and minus. So if you go 25, 25 minus 132 gives us a negative 107. Okay, you cannot take a square root, cannot square root a negative number. So what's going to happen is when you get into higher math, you're going to be able to work with something like this, but as of now, we cannot. So you cannot take the square root of a negative number. So if this happens, your answer is no solution. And again, this does not happen often. So if it does, you're doing something wrong. So just to make sure that you're understanding the concept, this should not happen often, but it does happen. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So again, negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Hopefully we're getting in some good habits writing that down. Notice we do not have an equal 0, so we need to get an equal 0. 4x squared plus, so we want to subtract over that 20. So that's going to make it minus 20x plus 25 equals 0. You always want to put them in descending order. Again, if you put the 25 before the 20x, then that might mess up your order with what's a, what's b, and what's c. A is always the x squared, so a number in front of the x squared. B is always a number in front of x, so b is negative 20, and c is always a number by itself. Now, I don't know if any of you noticed, but there is a shortcut with this problem that if you don't notice it, I'm not going to go through it. But this is a perfect square trinomial. So again, if you learn that in algebra, then you could probably shortcut it right now and factor it, and then you'd be done. I'm assuming most of you do not know how to do that, so we're going to go through this. Remember, again, always check. If there's a common number between all of these, take them out. In this case, there is not. But if you do have a common number to take it out, it makes all your numbers smaller. Okay, so let's plug this in here. So negative of negative 20 plus and minus the square root of negative 20 squared minus 4 times 4 times 25. Whole thing is over 2 times 4. So again, I assume that we're always writing that out in full detail here, getting an understanding of what we're doing and how to do it. So negative of negative 20 is 20. Plus and minus the square root of 20 squared is 400. And we have a negative 4 times 4 times 25. That is also 400, so 400 minus 400 all over 8. So this one, 400 minus 400 is 0. So when you work with that, there's really no plus and minus. So right here you have 20 plus and minus 0 over 8. So really this basically just x's itself out. So really this is just 0, so it's gone. So really you're left with really one solution, 20 divided by 8. So when you have 20 divided by 8, you end up with 2.5 as a decimal. So if you do that, you end up with 2.5. And if you were wondering, is there two solutions? Yes, but they're both the same. Both are the same. Okay? So this is a chart that kind of goes through. If we were in class, this would be a different thing we could talk about. Factoring we just spent time with. The graphing is something I'm assuming you did last year. Completing the square, we're not going to cover that right now. Using the square roots is what we've done before, and the quadratic formula we introduced today. So lesson summary kind of here, and a practice problem here, just to kind of get an idea of where we're at and what we're going to do. So let's walk you through the practice problem here real quick. A is 1, B is 2, and C is 7. So let's kind of give you an idea of what does this look like. How does this go? Again, negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a. So let's plug in what we have. B, negative b would be a negative 2 plus and minus. So that it's going to be 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 7. All of that is over 2 times 1. So again, let's see where we're at and what's happening here. So negative 2 plus and minus 2 squared is 4. Here we have a negative 4 times 1 times 7, so that's minus 28. So again, we're going to run into trouble here. So in this specific example, you have negative 2 plus and minus the square root of negative 24 all over 2. Can't take the square root of a negative. So therefore, the answer here in this case is no solution. Great job. Thank you.